anime too expensive these days? Is it too expensive to buy a Blu-ray or a DVD of an anime? Well, let's find out.
That man and his manga.
Hello and welcome to That Man. That is my merchandise, and today it's another edition of Manga Watch. I should call it Anime Watch. Something watch. It's not all about all the manga these days, but yes, this is another interesting one that I found. Now, this was retweeted by Big on Anime, and I thought it was worth some kind of discussion because for a lot of people, everything's going to be different. So this was another person's post about Fire Force and Dr. Stone, the first cour. These 12 episodes, half-season Blu-rays are really strange. I'd love to physically own both Fire Force and Dr. Stone, but why only 12 episodes of a 24-episode season? For $40 to $50? I don't get who these are intended to appeal to. They're intended to appeal to anime fans with money. Back in my day, it used to cost so much more for anime. That's right, it used to cost £20 per video, and you used to get 2 episodes on those videos. So if you wanted to have a full season, a full series of an anime which was 24 episodes, it used to cost you well over £200. Well over. And this is one of the weird things that I always see whenever someone brings up the fact, oh, is anime too expensive? Well, anime is expensive. Anime is a niche product. It's not something that you regularly see out in the wild. I've been a fan of anime for a long time, coming up to 20 years now, and I've seen the medium change so many times. A lot of people will turn around and go, oh yes, it was £20 for a video with 2 episodes on, and you had to mail away to get those episodes, and you didn't know what you were getting. It was all blind. It's not like these days with your Crunchyrolls and your Funimations, where you could find out what a series is like beforehand. But even when I first started, when I first got into anime, you had to spend £20 on a 4-episode DVD. The first ones I bought was Love, Hina and Full Metal Panic. Those are £20 each. Sometimes you'll get them a little bit cheaper. I remember getting a handful for £15. That's right, £15 for 4 episodes. I mean, sure, they came with posters and clean and openings and endings, but that was about it. And I always find it amazing when people are sitting there going, oh well, you know, $100 for a 24-episode series, and I'm just like, that's cheap. That's real cheap for me. And I mean, I know that in the UK it doesn't tend to be that price. I mean, I tend to find in the UK at the moment the high-end stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I spent about £100 on Gundam Seed the other day, because you got Gundam Seed, which was a 56-episode series. You got the movies. You also got the redub of Gundam Seed. So basically, you're getting over 100 episodes of anime for £100, and I thought that was expensive. To me, that is expensive. For us, we have just been announced to be getting Fire Force and Dr. Stone. I believe Fire Force is about £20 for 12 episodes. To me, that's cheap. That is incredibly cheap for a new anime. Now, there are a lot of factors which keep anime expensive. Like I said, it's a niche product. At least in the UK, if I go to Sainsbury's, if I go to Morrison's or Tesco's, you know, the main place to buy DVDs, apart from, you know, HMV, they don't even have anime. In fact, I think I've seen 2 anime series in my entire time in HMV, and that was Your Name, when that was absolutely huge and massive. That was in a few of the supermarkets, and I'm pretty sure the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie last year ended up in some of the supermarkets, because Dragon Ball Z is a huge name. Your Name was a huge thing. I can't remember if I remember seeing Silent Voice at some point, but yeah, in general, we don't. The most common places in the UK to buy DVDs don't stock anime. HMV does, but it's all RRP, and quite frankly, HMV is a product of its time. as things are going on, it's going to disappear. The DVD Blu-ray market is one of those weird things where it's kind of niche in general, but anime has so much more. Obviously, they've got to do the translation, they've got to get the license, they're going to have to price it that they're going to make back the money. I remember seeing something a few years ago when Anime Limited were talking about prices for Blu-rays and stuff like that, and there was like someone asked them, was like, oh, why don't you get X and X and X, and they kind of hinted at like, oh yeah, well, some of the series now the licenses are looking for 7-figure sums up front. That's not pocket change. You've got to make sure you're going to have to get that back. At the end of the day, the problem we've got is a lot of titles such as My Hero Academia, Doctor Stone, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, them ones are the bigger titles. They're going to be the ones where you're most likely going to get your money back because everybody, or a lot of people, are going to be buying them. And a lot of these other obscure titles, for example, a title that recently got announced by Anime Limited to be coming up in a few weeks' time is Tamako Market, a KyoAni title that I have never heard anybody talk about. A Kyoto Animation title that I don't hear anybody talking about. This is an obscure title. That's not going to be cheap. At all. But realistically, anime is expensive, and quite frankly, I feel like when people ask, who is this targeted towards? The 30 to 40 to 50 pound for half a season, or for one season anime? Those are targeted to people with money. They're targeted towards the anime collectors. Realistically, the idea behind the model now these days is if you can't afford a DVD or a Blu-ray, you watch it on Crunchyroll, or you watch it on Netflix or Funimation. That's the model that they're going ahead with these days. Blu-rays and DVDs are a nice thing, but realistically, the physical titles, I mean, I'm having to really pick and choose what I want in terms of Blu-rays. There's that many great series, but I just don't have the space for Blu-rays anymore. I was trying to whittle the ones I had down, and it was really difficult. It was actually genuinely really difficult to figure out which Blu-rays I just didn't want to own anymore or store away. And there's going to be a lot of titles where they're not going to make back a lot of the money. They are going to be obscure. There's plenty of titles where I've seen where the publishers have tried to do something massive with them, and then people just went, yeah, I don't want that. I mean, for Anime Limited, again, they recently announced Be the Beginning. A decent Netflix title that I enjoyed. They then did an Ultimate Edition, which admittedly has a lot of nice extras, and then priced it at $89.99, and I think that's the cheaper version of it. And I was just like, no. I like Be the Beginning, but I can't justify paying £90 for a title that is on Netflix and it's decent. I would have paid maybe £35 for a normal collector's edition or a standard edition, but yeah, some of these, they know they're not going to get the entire money back on that. They know that it is a passion of love or labour of love. But they're going to eventually get their money back. They're going to eventually get most of the profit back from that. Or if not, they're going to reduce it enough to kind of break even. And this is just one of those things. At the end of the day, if it's too expensive for you, don't buy it. At the end of the day, if you really, I'd really like to own Fire Force and Doctor Stone. Then, if you really want it, then buy it. Save the extra money and purchase it. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. At the end of the day, it's just one of those sad facts of life. At the end of the day, it's available on Crunchyroll, on Funimation. At the end of the day, you can watch them on there. But they're going to have to make the money back. And I think one of the things that we need to really remember is that companies are not really your friends. They're not going to reduce it down to £20 and lose money on it just because you can't afford it. Eventually, most likely, Doctor Stone and Fire Force, Funimation have their select line and they'll just stick them on there. But it's a sad fact of life that really anime has become so much cheaper over the years. But it is still an expensive hobby to have. And realistically, I think the thing that you need to think of is, do you need to own every single series that comes out? Because I don't. I don't even get a chance to rewatch most of my series because I've got too many. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Is anime too expensive? Leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.